Okay, so it's 5 after, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I'm screen sharing, obviously, and I put together a little module for this. Okay, so I'm gonna start with um, rubrics with standards. That's kind of where it started, and I'm gonna click on this first quarter of novel assignment that has no content, which is okay. And then I started a rubric down here, um, and I'm going to edit it so that you can see how um, you can do rubrics or change rubrics, add standards, that type of thing. I'm going to leave it as some rubric. I might change that at some other time. And I can add criterion. I can do a range. And then these are my two outcomes. We know them as standards for our teaching. And in North San Pedro School District, all of our standards are already in Canvas. And I'll show you where to find those if you don't know how to do those. So sometimes I do a range, but most often I will do, and I'm just going to do a duplicate, which is a nice way to add items, and then you don't have to make, like if you need these to be certain things. So I'm going to get rid of range and instead full points, middle, no marks. And then I would just click these if I was grading an assignment, where up here I would have to go over here and put a point in while I was grading, which is not obviously a problem. So this is a very nice feature when you go to add criterion, is that you can just copy and paste and you don't have to keep setting up, especially when you have like these, if you've got multiple levels of point systems. Then when you go to find outcome, mine automatically come up here, and I'm trying to, no, don't do that. And I'm trying to remember, mine automatically come up, and I honestly do not remember where. I'm going to hit cancel on this for a second. And it should be over here in outcomes. So I'm going to go there second. So let me click on find outcome. This is a 10th grade class, so it has the 9th to 10th grade language arts. It said something about reading and literature. So I'm going to click on key ideas and details, reading level 1. I'm going to try something. I've never tried this before. I like trying new things. I can use this criterion for scoring, which means that it's part of the student's grade, or I can turn this off and I can score it, but it doesn't affect the student's grade or points for it. So I'm going to import that, and I cannot, because why can't I? This has a longer description on it, but this one doesn't. It's okay. So even though it shows 5 points over here, only 3 of these, so this one does not have points attached to it, and this one does not have points attached to it. So then this is, so if I save this, update my rubric, and I'm going to change my points, then you can see right here that these points don't actually affect the student's grades. They just, I could just mark when I go to grade something, whether it meets the expectations or exceeds expectations or does not meet expectations. So that is fairly fast, easy. And then you can update this. Like every single time you need to change your rubric, you just edit it. Every once in a while, I'll realize that I have forgotten to click this, use this rubric for assignment grading. And I can just go back, click that, save it, update it, and then hit Control R for speed grade in my speed grader, and I will be able then for those assignments to have them graded with the rubric. It's like I'll have graded it and marked it in, and then go, oh, I'm not actually grading this with the rubric. I can remove points from it. It says don't post outcome results to learning mastery, which is a separate grade area. So let me click on that outcomes and see if we can find. So you can add your own outcomes, or you can add outcomes. So if I'm here and I click on outcomes, this would be if I wanted to add one. So I'm going to move my little window down here and tell it that I don't want to add an outcome. But if I want to find or import, so I'm going to click on find and then account standards. Here's North St. Pete School District. So if you're not in our district and you don't have this, then talk to whoever's in charge of your Canvas. So you have core standards and then early childhood and intended learning outcomes. So if I click on core standards, then I'm going to get all of this area of standards. There's health, language arts, math, PE. Then I come over here and I have all of the early childhood ones, and then these other ones. And then if I want to just go to the high school one, then I don't know why there's two Utah folders. Then I click on language arts, and this gives me K through 6. And I click on the other language arts and I get 8 through 12. And then 9th and 10th grade are the same level of, it's a band. So there's a 7-8 band, then 9-10 band, and 11-12 band, unlike the lower levels that each have their own grade. And then write to synthesize, plan and present. And so this is where you will find those is under find outcomes. And I don't know what I just clicked. Oh, I know what I just clicked. So if I could click on the find, and then I can tell it that I want to import those into my course as opposed to having them already there. So here's my 9-10 and my 4 areas. So that's where you find your standards, is in this, it's on the left side in that manual, in that column menu area, and you can then import all your standards into that and then add those to your rubrics, which is part of what this was. So the other thing, and this is something that I really, really liked, is that I created these, all of these assignments are blank. They say nothing. But, and I wanted to, this was the mastery pathways. So you have to create a quiz of some sort. And this one is 1 point. It has 1 question. And I'm going to click on edit. And I don't have it syncing to PowerSchool or anything, just because that would not make sense. So here's my instructions. I would put instructions in here. It's a graded quiz, quizzes and tests. This mastery module that I'm using is from several years ago, and we didn't have practice, and I can't remember what the other category is. But if I put this in my practice category, then it would not count towards the students' grades. I could also come down here If I don't make it a graded quiz, though, then the mastery paths don't work. So I can't tell it to be a practice quiz. It has to be graded. But I can also not have it sync to Power School, so it wouldn't sync there. It's just a point, so it wouldn't really matter. But if I put it in that category that we have called practice, then those don't count towards final grades. Then I have my questions, and there's just one question. So I just grabbed 2 books. We don't read either of these. Select true if you're reading Gone with the Wind and false if you're reading To Kill a Mockingbird. And then whatever they read, whatever they select, so they get 1 point for true. So if they're reading Gone with the Wind. And then I add pathways here. So I have 4 assignments. I'm going to add another assignment. You have to have your assignments created before you can add them. You can add more. There we go. Like, where my assignment go? So you can add another assignment, but you already have to kind of have your pathways and your assignments done before you can add them. You can add more, as I am doing here, but you don't want to publish this until you have everything assigned and done and all that. Well, great thing is that so students who they're reading Gone with the Wind, they press 1, they're going to see these 3 assignments on their module. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hit save. And then if I want to, I'm going to come back to the home page and I'm going to try this and we're going to see if this works. I'm going to go to student view. I'm going to go to this module and I'm going to click on this quiz. Next. Oops. Click on this quiz. Take the quiz. I think I was too fast. And I'm going to select true. I'm going to hit submit quiz. Okay, so I have a 1 out of 1. I'm going to go back to my module. And I should not be seeing these 3 assignments. But that could be because I am in student mode. I hate it when things don't work the way I thought they were. So I should only be seeing these top 3 assignments. Because that's the point of this. Let me leave this student view. And I don't mind learning on the spot. Going to edit. Let's see. Let's complete all. They have to score. No. We're just going to submit the assignment. This is not. Oh. We're going to do this. Complete 1 item. Oh, I thought I knew what I was doing. Mastery paths. the assignments themselves can also have mastery paths, just to let you know, as it shows. So I could say, oh, if you've completed that one, then now you're going to complete this from this level. You can change these points. So if you want them to be a different amount of points, you can have that. It's not like a big thing. And then you can have, this is a new thing, so I'm going to, there's no one else to assign this to. Assign to mastery paths. Moving this out of the way again. Save, continue. And then this is the assignment I was doing that criteria on. Two things I forgot because that's how I roll is number one, you need to go to settings. In your feature options, I'm just going to stick you up there. You need to make sure mastery paths is on. So you need to make sure that's turned on. It's only turned off. And then this is a new feature, assignment allowed attempts. So if you only want an assignment to be turned in one time and that's it, that they can't edit their assignment, then you can actually go in and change that. And then I also have a new course in user analytics turned on because there's a nice little feature over here with those. Your feature options you don't have to save, but if you move things around in this menu, then you do need to change those. So then this kind of shows all this, I don't know, it was really nice. I used this quite a bit during fourth quarter, which is when it was added. So back to modules. When I click on that assignment again, this first quarter novel, and edit it, then I can come down here and say you have unlimited or limited, and maybe they can only hand it in twice. Okay. Don't forget that if you want this to be a group assignment, you have to click it here. Once they've handed something in, it's too late to hand in as a group assignment. And then if you want to include this when syncing, which obviously I don't, because we're in the summer session. And then it'll tell both you and their students how many times they have allowed to update that. I'm going to go back home and see if that changed my student view. As I said, I thought I knew what I was doing here. Go to modules. I took my quiz. So I've taken this. Okay. So next. Locked until mastery path is processed for mastery paths quiz, which I took. Okay, we're gonna have to, I don't want to reset my student. But this assignment didn't show up at all. So we're gonna edit this and get rid of it for mastery paths. Come down here, change this to everyone. And go back home. Click on student view again. I need one of those smart students to come out and go, Mrs. Carney, it's right there where you're looking at it, as opposed to, okay, I do not know why these are not showing up properly, but I will look into that and add that into the scheduled information that Brandon Harrison assigned to everyone. Okay, then, because that's not working exactly the way I want it to, and I'm going to go over the other couple things I had, then open for questions, and then go play with this again some more. So I'm going to go to my settings. So you have a student who needs to take a quiz, and for some reason they can't take it online. Their iPad's not working. You don't have a Chromebook. For whatever reason, they can't take it online. So but you still need them to take it, and you want them to take it at the same time that everybody else is. So if you come over here to where this says moderate, so I have, and I'm going to show you where to get it. I'm just going to click my little button on my toolbar, and here is my quiz. It has the link to the story still. It has the fact that you have to have 70% to pass it, and then each question is here. And then you can just print this, and so if I click print, it's going to be all there's 2 pages to it, so you can print it back to front if you wanted to, and they can take that. This is really important, especially if you want to take it while you want them to take it at the same time you have everybody else taking it. So if I click on moderate this, then I have a list of all my students, and I can see exactly when they're working on it. And I do this during class. Besides walking up and down the rows, I can at my desk go, hey, why haven't you started this quiz? Or perhaps you need to do that again and take a little bit more than 1 minute to do it and fail it. So both of these things have happened. So this is an important little piece of information. So if you go to, it's called Canvas Quiz Printer. It's an extension. So if I go to my extensions, which is my window, and then extensions, I'm leaving, and we're getting there. There we go. It's right here, Canvas Quiz Printer. So all you have to do is go into your extensions, search for it, it's free, and then just install it. And then it's just in your, up here where your, all your extensions are. I have quite the little set of them. This is Screencastic, this is Quiz, Print the Quiz, this is a password, this is Mendeley, ad blocker for YouTube. I don't watch any ads on YouTube. Ad blocker for everything else. My Google Drive opens in a new tab. This creates Google Docs, so I can have a new document, new spreadsheet, new drawing, new form, whatever. I don't have to go to Google and do that. This is Boomerang, which is for my email, Amazon, and a dictionary, and Grammarly. So those are the basic extensions that I have added, and I use them, almost all of them, every day. So this is called Canvas Quiz Printer, and you don't even have to go, as I showed you, you just need to go to the quiz, and it gets the information. So you don't have to go to preview and try to take screenshots or anything. You just go to this part page and you hit your little extension, and it opens a new tab with that right there, with the quiz right there and right here, and then the kids just write on it, and there you go. So This was extremely helpful this school year. I had a student who just freaked out if she saw a quiz and it was timed or anything like that. Um, and so, and I time the majority of my quizzes, um, but this particular one doesn't have one. But yeah, I tend to I time them, and so just because I don't want to give them like all the time, it's like there's supposed to be a reading comprehension quiz. So if you have to go back and find all the answers, then that's not really a reading comprehension quiz. Um, but not all quizzes are timed or anything like that. So that is a very, very useful extension. You will find yourself probably using it a lot. Um, or even if you only have to use it once, you will find that it's much, much easier than trying to take screenshots and print and copy and paste and all that good stuff. And it has, if it's supposed to be fill in the blank, it just has a blank for them to write. If it's supposed to be essay, so whatever kind of quiz it is, it pops up. Unless, one caveat, it does not work on quizzes if you use quiz banks. Like if you say, I want 5 questions to come from this 10-question quiz bank, it's not going to work for those. It has to have the actual questions on in that quiz. It won't pull questions because it doesn't have any questions to pull until the student has clicked take the quiz. So that is one thing that it does not work on. So I do that for end of my unit tests often, is that it'll pull X amount of questions from all the quizzes that they took. So if there's, say, 6 quizzes of 10 questions each, it might pull 30 questions out of those 60. And so then the print quiz doesn't work for those. Then the last one I talked about, okay, was how to open a locked module. So this introductory module has to be done by all of my students within the first 2 weeks of the school year. It helps them, they do a discussion, they do forms, they take a quiz on the disclosure, they take a quiz on plagiarism, and then they write a short 3-paragraph essay on who they are. And this is the same module that I use for all 3 grades that I teach. The only difference is the questions that are asked on who am I. So to do the next one, though, is the prerequisite is the introduction, and they have to have completed all items in the introduction. So I've had this, and I'm sure other people have as well. I'll have a student walk in, and it's after Labor Day weekend, and they may have moved in from a state where school doesn't start till after Labor Day weekend. And now they can't access this narrative without doing the introduction. Some of these questions I might want them to still do, but like these 2 forms, I might want them to do, but for the most part, I don't really need them to do this again. Or if they're doing, they're walked in at the end of September, and we're on a module, but it has a prerequisite. So there are 2 ways to do this. So for me, this would have been turned on, and all of this would have been turned on. Let me turn these all on. And the easiest way to do half of this is to go to grades. And I'm going to click on introduction. Okay, so anything on here, I'm going to hit wait, range. There we go. No, introduction. Okay, the discussion. Okay, so that should have, just double checking here. Then I'll go back to my module and I'm gonna, okay, I do have that published. So now I'm gonna go home and go back as a student, student view. And it shows that I've put in a bunch of grades. It's amazing how many students don't look at that. Like I'll look at it and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. So I've accidentally put some scores in that they didn't um, need, but they've got, so that all those things are excused. So if I go to module and that module said I had to complete all items here. So here, this had to be viewed. So I'm going to click on it, view it. So if I am the student, so I can tell the student to go in and do this, or I can actually go in as the student. You have access of all of your students, and I must have forgotten to excuse this one. Okay, so I can't. So it says complete all items. And this tells me it's still locked because for some reason I missed this. Nope, and I missed this. Introduction. And these are both, the whole point of this introduction is they're going to learn how to use Canvas besides all the things that, all the things that I want to know at the beginning of the school year. So they have everything is done. Oh, it didn't need to be done. So now the narrative assignment is open and I can get at the next one. So I can go in and have the student click on those 2 pages that need to be viewed. So all of my students would need to do that. And this is the other thing I have them do when they're like, well, I don't know why I can't get the next one. I was like, do you have green check marks all the way down your side? And if there's one missing, then it might not be required. So this might not have been a required assignment. So I'm going to leave student view. And then hopefully, I'm going to click on people. Hopefully you know this as well. So normally you would have a list of students. I can come and click on that. Let's see what happens if I click on myself. Move avatar, move, return. User details. When you have a list of students, when you click on them, you get a window that pops up over here, and there's a spot that says act as user, and you can actually go in as your student and click those things. Like if you know you have a student coming into your class, they're on your roll, and it's, you know, they're on your Canvas roll, but they haven't started class yet, or even if they have started class, while they're getting settled in, you can go in, act as user, click those couple assignments that they need to like view as you're excusing them from everything else, and then unact as user and be back to where you are. Obviously, I can't show you that because there's no students in this class. It's my master program. So then when school starts in August, I just import all the content from this LA10 course into my new course that Power School and Canvas have created for me. So I do everything here, and then I import the content from this class into the ones that will show up hopefully several days before school starts, and then I can just, as I said, import this. This is not up to date. Um, it's I need to make some changes to it as well. Um, and then I need to figure out why my mastery paths, which worked in the past, did not work for this time. Um, and as I said, get back to you guys because I don't know why I clicked on mastery paths. People have taken this quiz. There's my mastery paths. Oh, and if you don't know, you can have rubrics on quizzes as well. Like if you wanted to have a standards rubric, that's also a place. Like if you want to say that this quiz fulfills these standards, this is also, you can also do that for a quiz. I don't know why. Edit, move, remove, details. Questions that I have not answered. I went fairly quickly. Cancel. Okay, I want to see if I can get this. This was like the whole reason I wanted to do this, and I don't know why it's not working. Okay. I'll assign to. Okay. Back to modules. Back to home. See if I can get this to work, which is, half the reason. So there's the assignment. Hmm. Okay. Going back, assignment 2A. So I'm talking to myself because I tend to do that a lot anyway. Edit. Could it be this simple? Aha. It was that simple. Okay, so Um, when you are assigning the assignments for your so after you've done your mastery path quiz, after you've done your quiz, your assignments also have to be assigned to mastery paths. It was that simple. So instead of it being assigned to everyone, then I get rid of everyone. Mastery paths. I should have known this. It's not like this is the first time I've done this, but it's been a while since I have done it. Assigned to mastery paths. Then when I go to student view, back to modules, then I'm only going to see, I haven't done obviously assignment 2C yet, but then I'll see only the assignments that I am supposed to see because I marked this true. So this is really good if you have students who you want, some are doing one set of assignments and some are doing another set of assignments. Whether it is extra, you've sent them on two different paths because you only have so many novels, or say in or you have those kids that got 15 out of 15 on the figurative language quiz, they're done, they can move on. But you've got other kids that they failed it abysmally and they just don't know the difference between metaphor and simile still, and you send them to more practice on that. So just make sure when you are making your assignments that they say mastery path on who you're assigning them to, and then they will show up. So this, instead of saying everyone, needs to say mastery paths. And as I said, I should have known that. And then you can also create assignments on a mastery paths as well. And then and I do know that when I assigned a student an assignment that was just for that student, it showed up on his grade, but nobody else's grade. So these should also do the same thing when it talks to Power School or Power Teacher Pro. It should being the optimal word there. But so just make sure then, again, as I said, that these are assigned to mastery paths, and your life will be good and it will all work. Okay, questions? I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't stop screen sharing. I can. Otherwise, enjoy your summer, and whatever your next session is. I see a